Hey everybody, it's Matt here. We're in day 2 of Sema 2009. I'm standing here with Doug Vandenbrink, a Formula Drift driver in his beautiful 2004 Mustang. Doug, could you give me a little history on how you got into the motorsports?
Well, I mean, in all fairness, I've been in motorsports forever. You know, I mean, as they say, some little kids grow up wanting to be firemen. I thought a race car driver would be a cool job, and so drifting really for me is an extension of something I've been doing for forever and ever. You know, we competed in midgets and karts and formula cars, and raced over here, raced back home, did some stuff overseas as well, and eventually ended up in the South doing the stock car gig. And that was a great direction for us, and we did really well there. The challenge is as you well know, and everybody else does, is motorsports just keeps getting more and more expensive, and we got priced out of the market. And drifting got introduced to me through some friends of mine that I was working with, doing some manufacturer demo stuff, and it seemed like a fun thing to do. I mean, you look at it the first time, anybody does, and says, that looks like a fun thing to try. And once I realized that there was a possibility of maybe, I won't say making a career out of it, but at the same time actually turning it into an actual entity that we can move forward with, it seemed like a fun thing to try. And so it was a quite simple deal. I literally had never drifted in my life, and a buddy of mine convinced me that the Mustang was the car to use. We went and bought one, and the very next day, I bought the car at 3 o'clock in the afternoon, went home, loaded up some tools, bought some tires from a buddy of mine, and that night drove all night to Summit Point, West Virginia, and competed in my first event. So it was like, okay, what is this thing? Oh, slide, right, okay, I got it. And I really had no idea what I was doing.
Right.
Still don't. Some people would say.
Yeah, that's great story. I've taken a couple of laps around the car, and this thing is really beautiful. From the STS turbos and the custom body kit and all that. Would you mind talking about the car a little bit?
Well, no. I mean, as you said before, it's an 04 chassis. The car is basically. There's a lot of redneck in this car, a lot of North Carolina in this car. There's a lot of stock car parts in it. People look at it and they kind of tell right away that this isn't your traditional import tuner kind of a car. And not that was my goal, but that's what I know. Right. So this car has the same kind of steering column that I run in the stock cars, same kind of Willwood pedal assemblies that we run in the stock cars. It's a lot of Americana in it. And again, not that was I'm waving the flag, but that was just what I knew. The good news is I've been building cars. My family came from the custom car industry, so I knew a little bit about that. I made a living as a race car mechanic for many years. So no, it's not a showpiece. It's not the most high dollar race car in the world, but for my budget, it's as best as that we could build. And so we try to look at each thing and try to make things as best we can within our financial means, as most everybody does, right? And so this is the kind of the end result. And luckily, the car's developed well. It's starting to look pretty good, thanks to the folks at AIT. I penned this body kit about a year or so ago, as I was mentioning to you, and I sent those drawings off, and the folks at AIT said, okay, that's great, but that's way too radical for the street. We can't sell that, so let's tone it back a little bit. And so this is what we've kind of compromised on, begrudgingly to me, but it's been a nice compromise, and everybody seems to like it. And in form and function, yeah, it works. It does what it's supposed to do. It's light. It's repairable. Drift cars get beat up every once in a while, and so obviously you want them easily repairable. And now, instead of a quarter panel having to go to the body shop to get pulled and frame machined, now we just Zeus it off and throw a new one on and be on our way. So, it's just, from the rear mount turbo deal is something we worked with the STS folks about. It's kind of, we took their technology and applied our own thought process to it, and, kept them on the phone the entire time as we're figuring it out, and it's worked very well. People see the turbo on the back and kind of freak out, and they go, oh, okay, how about all the lag and all this? Well, of course, we don't have any of that. And they don't believe us until they see the car on the racetrack and they see how instantaneous the power is. And, the car is, like I said, it's I jokingly say it's a home-built, little car. Obviously, a little more thought to it than that, but it's worked out well. It's the car is really starting to develop itself, and as I've said before, and continue to say, as long as I keep the car better than the driver, which so far still is the case, we're going to be fine. And so that's we've been lucky enough to get together with some really good companies, Belltech and AIT Racing, and Racing Electronics. I mean, you look at the side of the car. There's every company that's on this car is top shelf, the best products that money can buy, and that has enabled us to come out of the box, quite frankly, and put forth a car that really, really works. I mean, I've as a driver, you always want to really know where you stand and how well you're doing. So I've put other people in the car, and say, look, I've had my buddies that I compete with say, look, I'm not exactly sure that I think what I'm feeling is what I'm feeling, so take it out for a spin, and the people come back and they're impressed. I mean, it's really a good little car, and so I'm very pleased with it, for quite honestly.
That's great, and you've done a very good job on it. I really like the car.
Thank you.
You mentioned Belltech and the suspension, and obviously Belltech has always been known for many, many years as in the sport truck market. We've come out with our new muscle car program line, and you're helping us with that, which we greatly appreciate. Now, but being a 2004 Mustang, obviously this is not something that has come directly off of our shelves. You've had to work directly with our engineers over in Germany in our motorsports program. How was that experience in them getting what you wanted?
Well, I think I had a little bit of a benefit of the doubt, just because my name was long and it was kind of like some of theirs. So that was probably got me in the door. Yeah. But they were great. And the good thing is that the guys over there were very open to what we do. We've had drifting is still in the realm of motorsports is still a fairly new activity, for lack of a better term, and so you do get a little bit of a pushback every now and again when you say, we do drifting, and people go, oh, that's this or that's that, and how serious or how much you're sliding around, and there's a lot of misconceptions about our sport, and the guys over at Belltech were great. They were fully open-minded and said, okay, if we're going to help you, we're going to help you. So what do you need? And I gave them my drawings, and I showed them what sizes we needed, and what we literally went through everything. I mean, how much the car weighed, what was our geometry on the front end, and what was where our shock was placed on the rear end. If it was straight up, what angle it was, and they really, I guess, for lack of a better term, they really proved to me that they cared about what I was doing. In so much that they asked all those questions to find out exactly what I needed. So, there was no process of, okay, this is the first one, try that, and okay, if that doesn't work, then we'll get you something different. They literally, we put the first set on and it's worked. So, I feel very fortunate, and as you mentioned, the Belltech brand, I've known it for years. I mean, I used it on my sport trucks. I mean, I had the lowered mini trucks. I was that guy. And so I knew the brand, and so I felt right at home right off the bat. And then of course I was like, okay, well now they're German. Okay, now how's that going to work? But they were great, and they were very accommodating, and quite honestly, I couldn't be happier with it.
That's fantastic. That's great to hear. Okay, well, man, I appreciate you taking the time with us, and I wish you all the success in the world. And
thank you very much. I appreciate you guys being on board with us, and your involvement in our sport and with our team, and quite honestly, I look forward to a long and happy continued of a relationship.
Fantastic, great. Thank you very much, Doug.